Going everyone, welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel. You guys know what time it is. We're going to be talking about our good old friend Hbar. Shout out to you guys. As you guys know, I did make a market analysis update yesterday, kind of explaining, where I have been. I've been seeing a lot of comments coming in, wondering where I have been and, whether or not I'm good. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I was quite sick over the past few days, and I just decided to just relax and just try to recover, and I'm feeling much better, and I appreciate everyone reaching out. But we're back on schedule. If you have not subscribed, guys, what are you waiting for? From now on until the end of the year, we're literally missing no days. I'm gonna try my absolute best, and pretty much if you've been following the journey, you guys know we barely missed any days, but we're going to be laser focused at the markets. But looking across the market today, market has bounced once again. Over the past few days, especially over the last 1 week, we actually have been seeing the market tumbling towards the downside based off of what we're seeing in terms of tariffs, talks, as well as of course dominance going up, Bitcoin reacting in a negative way, which of course has impacted the altcoin market. But today, of course, we are seeing some excitement. Hbar up 5% with the price currently sitting at 17.16 cents, also up 1.7% in Bitcoin comparative. Market cap at 7.25 billion and the 24-hour trading volume at about $219 million. But before we get into any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So, Hbar. So obviously Hedera joins the ERC 3643 association. The T-Rex standard is becoming the gold standard for real world assets tokenization. So DTCC, Citi, ABM AMRO, and now Hbar join the elite circle. Institutions are coming fast. Hbar didn't wait, and it's already leading. Big stuff, of course, and I know a lot of people are going to come out and question the fact that, the price is not skyrocketing. Let me tell you, right now we are highly correlated with what's happening outside of crypto, and what kind of implementations that it can have on the crypto markets. We haven't really seen the market reacting positively to some of these external news factors that we're hearing, which again kind of goes unsaid. And of course, this kind of explains why you're not seeing retail interest as well, because uncertainty is quite high. Retail is nowhere near in terms of demand compared to what we were seeing late last year. So those are some factors people tend to forget, but it's something that you want to kind of notice. But if you're looking at the dominance index, guys, look at the dominance index. It's climbing up. A lot of people were calling me absolutely crazy to be thinking that dominance could go back up to this level, and here we are. You're looking at the dominance currently sitting at 62.5%. Believe it or not, this is something that you don't want to be neglecting. I've said this so many times, and it's kind of starting to show that this is a very important thing to be looking out for. 62.5%, gaining a lot of traction, even though Bitcoin did see a little bit of a bounce. You can see this for yourself. We're still far off to where we really need to be, in my opinion. But before we get into any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So obviously, we still have about 4 hours left until the daily candle close happens for the day. Obviously, if Bitcoin is able to close around this range, great. We are in the 38.2, but the target remains to be the same. Of course, you want to really start heading towards 23.6, and obviously, tariffs. There are some announcements to be made, I think, in the next day or two. About like an update whether or not these tariffs are really going to go. But again, we've been hearing these news, for some time. Is this just part of manipulation? We'll see. But you are looking at BTC reacting in a positive way today, due to some of the positive announcements that came out. But looking at Hbar, so Hbar did end up retesting that support line at 15.5 cents due to obviously Bitcoin tumbling down to the likes of 81.8. Obviously, a lot of people are going to ask, well, we went not even close to the March 10th, so why did the price did not go to this level back on March 10th? Because look at the dominance. The dominance is skyrocketing right now. This is the main factor, main reason why you're seeing a lot of altcoins, not just Hbar. We actually saw a lot of altcoins, retesting quite heavily, even though Bitcoin did not even see a major retracement in a grand scheme of things. So, but look at this, guys. Your boy Crypto ZX was talking about the next target to be that 15.5 cents, and at this point, I don't even need to say anything else. You could see see this for yourself right at the neckline. You can't make this up. Right exactly at the neckline, and we have seen a bounce. And again, if you want to put the bounce into perspective, we did see a bounce of about 13% from where we currently, are, in just a matter of a few hours. So of course, a nice bounce, of course. We're pretty much almost back to, where we were. If it's able to, reclaim back above 18 cents, pretty much back to, where we left off. Still in this accumulation pattern, of course, we did drop below that support, but we still have not dropped below the most important support, which is at 15.5 cents. And as to be expected, I've been telling you guys the importance of that. If we lose this support, then, there is a strong chance that, 12.1 cents could become a reality, but that would require Bitcoin, to tumble down to the likes of 76.5 with the way dominance is currently holding. I'm sorry, with the way that dominance is showing strength, so I would not be surprised if that price is a realistic thing to be looking at for the short term. But let's see what happens. You got to take a look at this market on a daily basis. You kind of base it off of what kind of announcements we're hearing, what kind of news we're seeing. There's a lot of uncertainty still within the markets, but of course in terms of an accumulation aspect, the people that like Hbar and want to get their Hbar holdings bigger, especially if you've done your due diligence research and have invested where you can afford to lose, and our dollar cost averaging in times like this are better rather than picking it up when it has pumped up quite substantially. And let me give you guys a perspective. We are seeing a retracement of about 60% from our yearly high, just 2 months back. But let me know down below what you guys think. Love each and every one of you guys. We're back on schedule. Hit those bell icons, so you're notified every time I upload. We'll see you later. Been Crypto ZX, and peace out.